Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Should have his microphone set up. Alright guys, back at it. I just wrapped up the interior, did inside the center console, put the floor mats back in. Other than that, yeah, give it a quick light vacuum. So the inside, yeah, the inside's all done. So now we're gonna mess with the outside. I want to recoat these wheels, recoat the wheel faces, recoat some of the plastics, and then this windshield doesn't look that great. It still has a lot of bugs. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's still got a lot of bugs on it. Clean the windshield real good and recoat that. I might clean up the headlights a little bit. These tops are looking kind of ugly. Clean up the headlights. So I'll do all that, and then the very, very last thing that I'll do, which I don't know if we'll do today or not, is just wipe down the body with some quick detailer. It doesn't need too much as far as paint work. It's mostly just stuff around the paint and the wheels and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start recoating these wheels. I might switch to camera view here. I'm trying this wide angle. I think it might be better for interiors, but it looks kind of weird. Looks too wide for the outside. Whoop, I almost stopped. Go get some of this coating. Like I said yesterday, I usually use the Geon rim. It's called Geon rim. I don't like to call wheels rims. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't like to call wheels rims. But it's called the Geon rim coating. The ceramic coating. It works pretty good. Usually it does last more than a year, or at least a year. But sometimes, all depending on the wheels and how well they're maintained. I'd say it's like a 50-50 chance if I'm going to recoat them every year or not. It kind of 50% of vehicles need the wheels recoated. 50% of the time I can skip a year and do it every 2 years. It all depends. Toyotas, I would say most Toyota trucks, yeah, these wheels probably every year. The TRD Pros, I could probably recoat them every 6 months. Just getting the coating here and then an applicator pad. Just went to lunch, got my wife. She's probably not watching this. I got some flowers. I don't like to buy flowers. Or at least like cut flowers. I feel like it's a waste of money, but it's for her. It's for her. I'd rather buy like flowers that you can plant or something. All right, so yeah, I just got a microfiber applicator and then the Geon wheel coating. I'm not going to get out the sprayer. I do have take off this headset. I do have like a airbrush sprayer. Sometimes I'll airbrush the wheels or spray the wheels with the coating. But for today, these aren't too intricate, so I'm just going to hand apply it. It goes just as quick. Well, maybe not quite as quick hand applying it, but it's just as good. As long as you can reach in all the areas that you want to coat. Put a few drops on the applicator. And just kind of section off each area. This coating, really anyone can apply this coating. The biggest thing is just make sure you don't leave any like excess behind when we go to level it off or wipe any excess off. And if you would happen to leave some behind and you have streaks or something, how you would fix it probably once it's dried, you'd probably just have to compound, like machine compound it off. I've never tried to take this stuff off. With these coatings and stuff, once like a wheel coating, like I would have did this a year ago, but it's not like they chip off. Like it's not like this coating's thick enough to where it like flakes off. It doesn't come off in flakes. It doesn't like strip off. It just kind of dies out, and like it just kind of loses its hydrophobic properties. It's not quite as slick. Um, doesn't release the dirt quite as easily. You can kind of tell when you start washing them how easily it is to release the dirt and break dust. Like water beading is a characteristic to let you know that there is something there, or at least that it's clean. But if it's not beading, whether it's beading or not beading, technically, what guys say is that's like water beading isn't like, oh yeah, it's protected, it's good to go. It's just kind of, they kind of put it together like if it's beading, it must have some kind of protection on there. But really, like clean, freshly buffed paint or freshly painted vehicles, like they beat up so and wash up so nice, just like extra clean paint. But sometimes people always think like, hey, my car's not beaten up, it must not be protected, but that's not true. It's just we like to see it beat up, and we do like to see stuff get released from the paint easier. I have that mindset. I mean, I like to see it beating up or running off, or at least like ultimately, like it would be nice if it would either just all run off or just sheet off in one big sheet to the point where you never get any water spots ever. Like I wish I wish that was a thing, but all right, this wheel's good. I'll come back. I'll let it sit for a little bit, and then I'll wipe off any excess. Ah, shoot, I gotta do the center cap. Just forgot that. Yeah, anyone can apply this stuff. I've helped a couple people on Instagram, uh, kind of tell them what to get as far as wheel coating, and then this is no problem to install. I want to make sure you have good lighting. I think the most important thing is making sure they're clean first. How much this product is, I'm not even sure. I can't remember how much this product is. It might be, gosh, it might be 60 bucks or so for this bottle. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. It's not that expensive. It's not as expensive as the graphene, like the paint coating. The paint coating for the same size bottles right around, it's a couple $100. This stuff's affordable. A little goes a long way too. I'd say the wheels that usually hold up the best are the wheels that have a clear coat on them. Unlike the TRD Pro wheels, they don't have like a clear coat. It's just like a satin black, just absorbs everything, stains easy. Or like aluminum wheels, polished aluminum wheels that don't have clear coat. They don't really like the coatings that well. They're so porous, like the porosity of the materials tend to not like, depending on the porosity, it doesn't like the coating quite as much. Clear coated wheels tend to hold up the best. I'm thinking because it's probably just less porous. And stuff can't absorb into it because it's clear coated. There's less craters in the material, like in the clear coat, for this coating to fill in. When I apply it to like a satin black wheel, it's not like it makes it like glossy like this. It just makes it a little deeper black. Not so much like you just clear coated it. It doesn't look like that. Even like ceramic coatings on vinyl stripes on your car, it's not like, oh man, you just clear coated my car. It's not like that. I forgot to remove the center cap. Shoot, let's get that off. No one stopped by today. I just heard a car door. I don't know if anyone's coming in or not. Just kind of doing a quick wipe over just in case I miss some areas. When I'm yakking, I might miss some stuff. I usually do this side and then I'll level it off. Wipe or just wipe them, remove any kind of excess material, and then I'll switch my applicator then. These applicators, it starts to get tacky on the applicator, like it starts to dry on the applicator pad here, and it just doesn't level off quite as nicely, especially when it's warmer out. It just starts to dry. The application of the coatings don't go quite as easily if you don't switch your applicator every once in a while. All right, I'm gonna get a couple towels. Just gotta find a lid. I try to keep the lid on these coatings. That way they don't get filled up with air and it start to like dry inside the bottle. Like the lids, the cap's already dry out as is. I don't even know where I put the cap. Oh, there it is. Duh. And for these wheels, I'm not getting out brand spanking new towels. I'll generally level it off with a nice quality used towel because I'll probably just throw it out once I'm done. This stuff will harden up on the paint, and I don't really want to. I don't really want to use it again once I used it for this wheel coating. It's not really needed. It won't work right. It won't absorb water. It just becomes like like a water resistant towel. It's just like a real light wipe, nothing real aggressive. Just kind of remove any excess. These wheels, if I have a couple, like if I do, I'm not seeing anything, but if I did have a couple high spots, you're not even going to see it. These wheels aren't perfect. So I actually like to leave just a little bit more material in the cracks if I can. I'm not going to try to tackle removing everything or leveling everything. Like that's pretty good. I think I'm just going to let it go like that. I've already done it where I just you spray the wheels and walk away. Just sometimes you run into, it just doesn't look quite as clean depending on how your spray gun's working. Towel. That's good. It's good to get a new towel. Never seems like these center caps go on right, but that's on right. That's on there. I can't believe them things don't fly off. Yeah, the clear coat on these wheels is already kind of getting jacked up in certain areas. Usually, like when I do the actual coating of this truck, like when I did it a little over a year ago when I coated this vehicle, I do 2 layers of product. Typically, when I do the maintenance, I just apply 1 layer. But on the initial application, put a layer on, wait a little bit, maybe a couple hours, an hour or so, and then put another layer on. Or I've even waited like a day. And 2 layers definitely works better than 1. But for maintenance, I usually just do 1 layer. There's already some on there. It's just a matter of putting like a new top coat layer on. Now, could someone else, like if someone else was washing this truck and they washed the wheels like just like I did, could they be like, oh yeah, these wheels were coated at one time? Could they tell? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't be able to tell. The paint and plastics, they probably would have been able to tell, but the wheels were acting kind of dead, and there could be several reasons for that. Why the wheels were acting kind of dead. Could be like wheel cleaners that were used, or just straight up heat, brake dust, or just anything really that could kind of kill out the coating on the wheels to where they're not washing up quite as good. Road brine, salt. Didn't see too much of that this year around here, but wheel cleaners are usually the number one issue to kill out, like wheel and tire cleaners. So if I like spray an aggressive tire cleaner on it, it drips on my wheel, well, it's going to affect the coating on the wheel. So that's usually like on like tires and wheels that are coated. I'll usually use the wheel cleaner, the brake buster on the tires. That way I'm not using heavy degreasers where it could affect the coating on the wheel. Where like if guys are using, I don't know, like crazy tire shines with aerosol and stuff, and you get a constant buildup on the wheel of tire shine, that could maybe mess with the coating on the wheel. I don't, but it's not uncommon. These coatings aren't once and done, walk away, wham bam, thank you ma'am type thing. It's kind of, they all require maintenance and love, especially on a daily driver. And even these wheel coatings, like some wheels maybe, but majority of wheel styles, typically you still need to agitate it with like a microfiber mitt or a towel or soap and cleaner. Not so much like wheel cleaner, like soap and water typically works on these wheels as far as cleaning and maintenance. That's typically enough. On a coated wheel, usually you don't have to use, if you wash it every week or two, usually, or even every month, usually you don't have to use any aggressive wheel cleaners. Just car soap and water. But it's not like you rinse it with a hose and it looks brand new. You do have to physically touch it to clean it. It's even with the paint coatings, it's not to the point where you go get your truck dirty and you take a garden hose or even a pressure washer, rinse it off, and it's like perfect like day one. The only way that usually works if it's just like dust. It's not so much like road debris, winter driving, rainstorm. Once you get in a rainstorm or like the dirty vehicle, it takes more than just a rinse. Tire coatings, I've seen some customers use tire coatings already. I tried a couple. I think CarPro had one that I tried. It worked pretty good. Like on car tires, it's not a bad idea. I've never done it on them ceramic coatings for tires. I've never done them on a truck tire. I have used like Black Pearl tire armor. That was a thing back in the day. Tire clear coat. I've used several different products, and some of them work pretty good. None of them are like forever, but some of them you can go multiple rainstorms and not have to hit your tires. Um, I don't have anything right now that I use as far as tire coatings or like permanent tire dressings that don't wash off or that are dry to the touch, but I have used them in the past. with anything like that, it's like you have to be really good with your tire preparation. Um, and not every tire is created equal as far as what oil, if like the oils that are coming out of it, how easy it is to clean off, how it how it if it even likes having like a clear coat applied to it, because some like it just starts peeling off or it turns purple and or it ends up looking worse than it did before after you a few weeks later after the tire coating. And I don't want to apply something that looks worse than it did before, because I usually don't see these vehicles all but maybe once a year or every 6 months. I don't see the customers around. Usually if I do something like that for testing purposes, it's like someone from church or a relative and I see their truck out in the parking lot every week. I can kind of take a sneak peek to see how it's holding up. I don't charge them anything extra for it. I just like, hey, I put this tire coating on your tires. I'll keep an eye on it and see what it's doing. I definitely don't like sling, and I don't like high gloss. I've seen a couple vehicles that look cool with high gloss, um, but I couldn't drive it because it just looks like it would sling and make a mess. There was this one video on Instagram or Facebook right now. It's that Nick's Detailing that he's selling that aerosol can. It's an aerosol can tire shine. It says no sling, and it lasts up to so many washes or so many weeks. And they got a Jeep in the video, like a Wrangler or a Gladiator, with like really high shine tire shine. And it actually looks like really good. It's so shiny it almost looks like the tires are clear coated. But man, it looks like it looks like it has to sling. Like it I don't know if I could I don't know if I would want to drive it like that, but I just can't if it's that if it's more of a permanent stuff and doesn't come off easily, like you almost have to have a wheel guard or wheel protector or be able to get that off the wheel right away, because you can't spray aerosol without getting on the wheel, let alone it misting all in the room and then falling down onto the body of the vehicle. But it looked pretty good. Really aggressive tires, and they were as shiny black as this wheel. Um, Before I would say no, I don't like that, but it did look nice on that particular tire and wheel. It's like, don't drive it, it's gonna sling everywhere. It's one of them things where you spray tire shine in the tread for the truck show or something. As it's just sitting there. You don't drive it, you just let it parked. But yeah, if it's permanent, like a more not permanent, but something that hardens up or has whatever in it that hardens up so it doesn't wash off, or it can't be good for wheels. It can't. If it gets on your wheels and dries on there and you keep applying it, depending on the wheel, that could be bad. Could be bad. I don't know. All right. Did anyone else see that that Nick's tire shine video, the aerosol can of tire shine? Did anyone else see that video? It's like a Gladiator with really shiny tires. And I think it's like an advertisement on Facebook or on TikTok or somewhere. It might be on all the platforms, but it's like Nick's Nick's tire shine or something. It's kind of like the for that time period where that what was that spray on sealant called? that everyone was buying. It's like, instead of a ceramic coating, they had like commercials. It was shoot, it's like a fighter jet name or something. No, I can't remember. It's like a paint sealant. Everyone was buying it, but it was okay, like quick detailer or like a light protection. F11, yeah, that was it. Like F11, I think it was called. And I think it was. I never used it, but it's probably a good paint sealant. But they mark it up and hype it up so much. Like you're not getting anything that's like amazing. Yeah, F11 top coat, I think that was called. I shouldn't even be talking about it. I never used it, but I had customers that used it. Something like that. The biggest thing with that is like, does it work okay? Does it hold up for a few months or even a month? Does it hold up for like a month? And is it easy to apply? If it's easy to apply and it holds up for at least every wash or every month, well, every wash, that's not quite long enough, but like every month or two, then I guess for a cheap price, it might be worth it if it's easy to use. But if it's hard to use and it doesn't hold up, it's not worth your time. F11 top coat, yeah. Remember, people still bring it up once in a while. It kind of died out there for a little bit. Oh yeah, I got some flowers over there. Corky, I got some flowers over there. So I don't know. Flowers are kind of expensive. And they're just gonna die anyway, but I can't look at it like that. All right. So we top coated the wheels. Now what do we want to do next? I'll probably touch up some of the plastics here. We'll get out the trim restoration. Let me go get that real quick. Wheels are top coated. Wasn't too bad. That didn't take long at all for that. They have like a little coating carrier that you put these little coating bottles in. You like put your bottle in a carrier and put the lid in there. I should buy one because I'm constantly looking for the lids. Always losing these lids. All right, I think we probably should remove the license plate. It's probably dirty back there. I should have already removed it when I washed it, but we'll pop off this license plate. The bumper actually isn't too bad, but it just needs a light maintenance coating applied. Usually these bumpers are chalked up worse than this one. It pretty much passes my inspection as far as whether I need to apply it or not, but it's a couple little spots, but all in all, the coating held up fairly well. But yeah, I'm gonna pop this license plate off. Oh, that one's loose already. I'm gonna pop off this license plate, putting some maintenance coating on there. I'll show you guys here in a second what I usually use for plastics. Works pretty good. I've tried a lot of different plastic coatings. With this coating that I'm using, I forget what the guy's name was. He's somewhere around here. He has a YouTube channel, and he does like product reviews. Well, he bought a lot of different plastic coatings, and then tested them all out on a mat and left it outside for like a year or something. And this coating like held up. This was one of the better coatings that held up for a long time. I forget what his channel name is. It's not Miranda Detail. Apex, the guy from Apex. I'm like, so that's. he made the investment of buying all the different coatings and seeing how they worked. And some of the other stuff that he had in his video, like I've used before, like Solution Finish I have, like Black Pearl, even the IGL trim coating, and just using standard different ceramic coatings on trim. This one tends to hold up the best so far. Then again, it's probably been over a year since I've tried any different trim coatings. It's kind of one of them things, once you find something that's working okay, it's usually not worth trying to figure out something else. If you can get a trim coating on a daily driver to hold up for a year on the majority of your plastics, that's pretty good. The trick is not to let them get too bad. If you can, coat them when your vehicle is relatively new. I'm going to drop that. I don't know if you guys can see me okay. Yeah. All right. I just put a little bit on there. So this is a C4. C4, I don't know how to say the name exactly. I never know. I even know some of the guys that work here. G-Technique. I always say G-Technique, but that's probably not right. But it's C4 Permanent Trim Restore. Put a little on an applicator, apply it, and then I usually come back through and wipe any excess off. But it holds up very good on black plastics. I don't think I would use it on the inside, just because I never have. But I've on the outside, I know it works good. I've used it on some bed covers, not enough to really say if it holds up well. The thing with bed covers is like, usually they have like years of tire shine on them, or like they're so dirty you can't get them clean enough, or they're almost too faded and they just suck up all the coating. But if I were going to coat a bed cover again, I would probably try this product first, the C4. You'd probably go through a whole bottle though. And it wouldn't be like, it might take a couple applications until you get it good. This bumper looks really good, surprisingly. It's got a couple air valves back here. I don't know if that's like, is that like some kind of air shocks or something? Airbags maybe? Does this thing have airbags? Is that what guys, do they put little valves there for airbags? I used to have them in my Mustang. Had airbags. That a 5.0 Fox body had airbags in the back for, I don't know. I guess I had traction bars. The guy bought it from me. Put traction bars on it, and then I had to put some airbags in the back because the back tires were so big they would rub on the inner fender well. So he put airbags on there just to put a little bit of air in it. And I had another one. A guy put an airbag in only one side. It was like an airbag in one side, I guess, for when you launch them things at the racetrack or something. I don't know, something with it leaning one way, or I don't think they're factory. I probably should get my headlight. I'm gonna end up missing a spot. All right, that should be good. Been sucking these Altoid mints down. Go through like a can of mints a day. You're not late, Corky. I appreciate you watching, man. Well, I went to the grocery store for lunch. It's not that close. It's probably like 20 minutes away. Went to the grocery store. I was like, I'll get some flowers and then get a card. And then I usually get some food here to keep in my fridge at work. And I had to resist. I'm like a major crab addict. Any kind of crabs or snow crabs, blue crabs. I always tell everyone if I'm ever going to start another business, it's going to be like something to do with crabs. They had crab legs there, like already cooked in the bags, like seasoned snow crab legs. It was like 3 pounds for like $17, already cooked, ready to eat. I like was resisting. I was like, the price was right. It made sense, but I always feel a little guilty eating crab. I never did it, but I would feel guilty eating crab legs here by myself at lunchtime. I guess I could have got them for dinner time, but you go to like Wawa or you go get a sub or a sandwich, gosh, and a drink and stuff. You're already at $17 for lunch. I would say my typical lunch, if I would buy out, is like 11, 12, 13, $14, all depending. Gone are the days of, at least at gas stations, for like a $6 lunch. That's not even a thing. $5 foot long. All right, I'll get some of these other plastics. We'll get these mud flaps. Yeah, crab. I'd like to be a professional crabber. I'm just afraid that if I did that, I wouldn't like crabs anymore. All day long, spam calls. Maybe I'll hit this running board real quick while I'm here. I just use the same coating. This trim coating will work fine on the running board. This thing actually, the running boards look pretty good. Like I said yesterday, I can't remember. I don't remember if these things were on here last time. They look so good. This stuff isn't greasy. It's not like they're gonna slip and slide around. It's more like a new, like trying to get it more like a new look versus like tire shine or something. I go through a lot of the C4 trim coating. I should see if they have it in bigger containers. The only problem with that is I'd probably go through a lot. I'd probably just dump it on. What's on there? Concrete or something. This here's metal. It's not necessarily plastic for trim coating, but it'll be all right. It wasn't faded or anything from the get-go. I'm just gonna wipe it with a towel to make sure it doesn't have any streaks. just wipe it like with a towel. It doesn't have any kind of streaking. Looks really, really good. Probably should plug in this. Probably should plug in my phone. Plug it in real quick. All right, that should be charging. Yeah, maybe I'll figure out how to hook up my good cameras to my laptop or something. That's probably going to be the best way. I got a nice Sony camera I bought a couple years ago. I can figure out how to put it into my laptop. The only downside is my internet here is not good. I just like using this so much. It's so much better than like a tire shine that washes off after the first rainstorm. It is a little bit more expensive. I don't even know. I forget how much this is a bottle for the C4 50 milliliter bottle. It's probably, it might be $40 for the, it's kind of expensive. But if you were to buy it to do your own vehicle, it would last a while. I would just recommend keeping it inside. Don't let it sit in the hot sun or in the cold. Yeah, it's not the cheapest. I don't usually search for the cheapest. I just want whatever's going to last as long as possible within reason. But even I say within reason, if there's something that lasts and I know it lasts for a really long time, I don't think there is no like price point unless it was like crazy. But like I don't switch coating brands and products due to price. Like if I know it's going to work, then I want it. If it works good and it works better than other stuff, I'll take it. All right. Bed rails. Probably coat these bed rails. They actually don't. I don't even think they really need coated. I'm just gonna hit them real light. Just hit all these bed rails real light. The applicator pad gets kind of dingy looking. See it? Gets kind of dingy. I'll just flip it around. I just have to remember that I now have coating on my hands. So if I touch anything, make sure I wipe it off. Oh, my lid. See, I lay them lids in random places. I find them later. Ah, shoot. I'm using them. You guys didn't see that. You didn't see any of that. I grabbed the wheel coating and I'm putting on the plastics. See what you guys did? It'll be fine. It's not gonna hurt it. These top plastics don't even really need anything. They look like they're already coated last year. But now he's got wheel coating on half of them. You can't tell that. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Just might not last as long. I don't know. Maybe it'll last longer. All right. All them plastics are done. I think we got some plastics here in the front that actually still look pretty. Still bumper plastic. Camera down. Yeah, the slower bumper plastic. I'm gonna hit this. I got a new applicator since I mixed wheel coating with trim coating. Who knows? Maybe it's like new formulation that works even better. These C4s, the only thing you got to watch out on these is it comes out of the bottle like really, really fast. I remember giving it one time to an employee and he used the whole bottle on the first vehicle. I'm like, whoa, how'd you use so much? It's because it comes out of the lid so fast. You don't need that much. I'm thinking that's why they put it on there, so you use more, so you have to buy it more. I can't believe how well the trim coating did hold up on this truck. It's not bad. I think that's good as far as plastics. As far as plastics go. It's got some plastics around the mirrors and the fog lights, but all that stuff looks good already. Even what I did doesn't really necessarily need done. All right. I'm thinking we'll just hit these top of these headlights real quick. Well, as quick as we can. At the tops of the headlights. Oh. without trying to make too much of a mess. All right. The whole headlight's pretty good, except this little ledge right there. It's kind of starting to yellow up. The goal here is not to make a mess, not to get compound everywhere. Just do this top edge here. I'll just put a little bit of tape here so I don't hit the body. I think I got to buff too much down here. It's just this top edge. I get out the rotary buffer. Hit it with the rotary, nothing crazy. Got like a little 3-inch, I think well, it's maybe 2-inch, just a little attachment for a little pad. Oh. I think I might use a new pad just to reduce any kind of dusting. Some of my older pads carry a lot of dust in them when I first start them up. If I have any new pads, I might not have any new ones. Yeah, I might not have any new ones. All right. I think I'm done messing around. Just use this little blue pad. It's an older pad. Shouldn't be too messy. Just run it at low speeds, nothing crazy. We don't want to be burning someone's headlights. If you're going to burn someone's headlights, it's going to be with a rotary, with a foam pad, on too high of a speed, and you'll just start melting plastic. Just put a couple drops on. Shouldn't need too much. Just rub it in so less chance to sling. I don't think they need sanded. I might have sanded them last year when I did them. These were corrected before. It's just they don't hold up. It just doesn't hold up. Try not to make a mess. Try not to make a mess. Nah, they'll clean up fine. This is coming right off. Say one thing with headlights that gets kind of sketchy sometimes when you start applying tape around the headlights. Like if you have a lot of rock chips or repainted bumpers or this or that, it's not super uncommon to run into like awful paint where you start pulling off. You got to make sure your tape isn't like too aggressive because sometimes you can start pulling off clear coat when you start taping stuff off that usually doesn't have tape off. How I know that because my Honda has awful paint. And you put a piece of tape on there that's just well, not even aggressive, any kind of tape. Um, it starts pulling off the clear coat. I've seen it already with other vehicles. Usually, it's already flaking off everywhere else. That's good enough. That's better. Or what did I say? We're not going to say that's good enough anymore. That's the customer will be happy with that. All right, let's do this other side. Yeah, he must haul something with this or someone the previous owner or something. Here, I'll move you guys over here more. I don't think I'm gonna tape this side off. We're just gonna freestyle. We're gonna live life a little on the wild side. I'm running pretty low speed. You don't have to go super fast. Sometimes if you go too fast, yeah, sometimes if you go too fast, it'll just be like hydroplaning on the surface and it won't do anything. Sometimes you can work the machine too fast to where it's just like skimming on top of the surface or just burning through. That's good. That's better than what it was. The rest of the headlight isn't bad. When I wipe it down, I'll probably I'll put some coating. I'll put some graphene coating on the headlights to help a little bit. It's still probably every year. Every year, more than likely, I'll have to hit them headlights just like I did today. All right. I think what I'm going to do next is this windshield. I tackle the windshield. Ooh. Shoo. Make sure everything's tightened up. All right, this windshield just has a lot of bugs on it. It cleaned up okay, but it's going to need recoated. I don't really want to have to polish it. Might have to. I'll have to see. I'll see what it looks like once I'm wiping it. When I start wiping it and stuff and cleaning it, any kind of water spotting and stuff will stand out pretty clear. Just bear with me here a second. I got to get my glass cleaner and stuff. My bottle's running a little low. This ain't working. I need more. Them bugs soak a little bit. Corky was saying that he was playing with his glass cleaner. I'm kind of curious to see this glass cleaner that I'm using. I want to see if it breaks down the clay that I have. It is synthetic clay that I'm using. I have both. Maybe I'll try the real clay first. I want to see if it breaks down the clay. Sometimes some of the cleaners can mess with the clay. Oh, I'm not sure about this piece. Yeah, it seemed like it's messing with it too much. I didn't clay bar. I usually don't clay bar the paint unless it like really needs it. White usually you're all right, but like black paint, you don't want to have to clay bar because typically even if you're super careful and you have the best clay and you do no pressure and you just let it glide and do the work, let the clay do the work, you still will get light micro marring, especially on all this any paint really, especially this new paint. And then you got to machine polish it. And that's not exactly what I want to be doing to this thing, is machine polishing off the coating and then having to recoat it. This windshield's got some pretty decent sized chips in it. No, this clay is working fine. Definitely takes off all the bugs. This is the clay that I'm using here is just a blue medium grade Clay Magic. It's Clay Magic. You can get it right on Amazon, detailed image. It's a pretty common clay. People are a lot more educated on clay versus back in the day. Back in the day, you would get more questions like, "Hey, I think I need my car clayed because it's got a bunch of scratches." They might think that the clay removes scratches, where it's actually opposite. It actually creates scratches, but it does clean. Like that's the main purpose of clay. That's the only purpose of clay is to clean, to remove contaminants that can't be removed by typical washing. That's the only purpose of the clay, not so much to remove swirls or anything else, or even water spots. It doesn't. I've never had a clay that removed water spots or a noticeable water spot removal clay. I wish there was. Maybe in combination with something, like maybe in combination with some kind of acid that didn't break down the clay. But it's just used for contaminants. Or overspray removal, paint overspray removal. With that being said, I have had some paints that got cars that got overspray and the clay doesn't touch it. All right, yeah, this windshield needs a light polish before I put a coating on it. So I'm gonna give it a light machine polish. I think I'm gonna try the bigger buffer. Maybe save a little bit of time. I'm gonna use the Rupes the 21 Rupes 21 millimeter. You can use whatever buffer. I got a Porter cable over there from back in the day. That would work fine for something like this. Just light machine polish the glass. I like to use something that I can one hand, because sometimes on these windshields I have to hold it with one hand when I'm buffing the glass. It looks clean. There nothing looks wrong with it. I just know the glass coating will take better if I lightly polish it. It'll hold up a little bit nicer. Problem with this is I might make a mess. I'm gonna try not to make a mess. I'm gonna stay away. Ah, man, this thing has black trim. I might stay away from the low. I better just tape it off. We're better off. We're better off. Play it safe. However, we're not having to try to clean compound off trim later, which I'd rather tape it off than have to clean off compound. I don't necessarily have to get that close to the trim. It's kind of one of them things like when you're restoring your car in your garage, or a basic detail turns into a full 3-year restoration. Well, or a motor swap turns into a huge ordeal. We got the motor out, guys. We might as well clean up the engine bay. Well, that looks so good. Let's fix all the rust. That's like detail life every day. We got this far. Why not polish the glass? That's good. Getting too old for this, guys. What I'm going to be using, I'm just going to be using, I got a yellow foam pad. I think it's a Buff and Shine yellow pad. You can, with glass, I wouldn't say you can use any pad, but your options are pretty wide as far as glass polishing, just to prepare it for a coating. I'm not really removing anything. It's got some light water spotting on the outside edge. I'm not buffing out scratches. I would say I'm just removing some of the light water spotting. So I can pretty much use any pad that I have. Yellow, orange, whatever. I don't need anything real hard. I want something with a little bit of cushion. That way I'm not slinging product everywhere. If I pick too hard of a pad, it might just start throwing product everywhere and make a mess. I don't want to have to give this thing a bath. Again. I'm not going to do this to all the glass. It's most important on the windshield. That way the coating will hold up better. The side glass actually repelled water fairly well. The windshield, not so much. The windshield was pretty much dead. It was dead. It was dead anywhere the windshield wipers were hitting. Anywhere the windshield wipers weren't hitting was like the coating was still new, which is common. It's typically what you see with a windshield coating after a year or even after 6 months. It typically these windshield coatings, even the professional, if you want to call it that, professional windshield coatings need reapplied every 3 to 6 months, really. It's just not really usually worth customers coming the whole way down here, driving a half an hour to an hour to just get a quick windshield coating on. Some people do. Some people bring it in every 3 to 6 months. They'll say, hey, it's not beating up that well anymore. It's time for a refresher. Let's recoat the windshield. They hang out for 15 minutes and off they go. All right, that's good enough. All right, goal here is not to make a mess. We'll see how this goes. The products that we're using today. So we're going to use this is a Buff and Shine yellow pad, nothing crazy. Sure, this headlight might be blinding you. With the Rupes 21, you can use whatever buffer you want to use. And then this is the P&S Clarity Cream. So it's a glass polish. It says here, removes water spots, prep polish. This is a prep polish for any kind of glass coating. Fast and effective. So let's just, it doesn't really, it's not that bad. The customer wouldn't complain about this windshield. I just know that the coating will hold up better if I polish it out. Just put a little on the pad. This stuff's a little more runny, so you don't want to put too much on the first go around. I gotta turn my ladder. My back's gonna give out. Twist it up like that. Just usually cut it in sections. Maybe like 2 or 3 sections on each side. Depends how comfortable you are. Sometimes it's hard to get that center. Sometimes it's hard to be comfortable when you're polishing windshields. Using this clarity cream, even on like a brand new vehicle, you can tell that you really can tell that it makes a difference. It almost, I want to say it almost adds like a depth to the glass, being like when you polish glass, it almost adds like another depth to it. And it does, it's not, it's just making it more clear, I guess. But it almost adds like another depth to it, to the glass where it, yeah, I can't really explain it too well. But nice clean glass can take the detail to the whole next level. This other side's easier for me being right-handed. That side, the driver's side's kind of awkward. That should be good. Should be good enough, or it should be satisfactory to the customer. I don't know why I said that should be good enough. I said it didn't really need that much. I just know because I've always you can't find like an awesome glass coating that holds up against wiper friction. They just don't have one that's like that lasts for like even a year. Like they even if you do multiple layers, it's just these white. If you live in an area like this or like somewhere where it gets a lot of bad weather or rain or all the above, it's just the wipers take a toll. Even if you even if you never use your wipers, actually, if you never use your wipers, it would hold up a little bit longer. But it's that real light mist where you're not driving very fast and it doesn't roll off the window. You almost have to use your windshield wipers. But that's what you come up with some kind of frictionless windshield wipers. The coatings on the windshield will hold up a little bit better. Just gotta blow off some of this dust. It's got some dust on it. Wipe it down. Wipe all this off. I try to place my hands when I'm working on a vehicle, like on black stuff that's not painted, like down here. Try not to touch too much paint. Fingers. If you're wearing gloves, it's usually all right. But like raw fingers, you're gonna scratch. You're gonna lightly scratch it. On this, you wouldn't necessarily see it. It's just you don't leave fingerprints everywhere. Just a good habit to get into, not touching the paint. The hard part is teaching your kids how not to touch a dirty car. I haven't figured that one out yet. Watch. Eventually, when Grayson's 16, he's got his own car. He'll be freaking out when people touch it. But in his whole life, he's grown up, running his hands down the whole length of the car. Just watch. I can already see it. The day he realizes not to touch other people's car is when he has his own. Up until that point, there's no point of buffing out my cars because they're going to scratch them up. All right, now I just need like a little bit of alcohol. I got a prep spray over here. It's like alcohol and distilled water mixture. Hit it with a little prep solvent. That way, if it's left any kind of polishing oils behind, we can remove that. All in all, the glass looks good. It's ready for coating. It's just I don't have my coating's not gonna. Well, my coating has arrived. It's arrived at my house, so I'm not gonna coat this windshield until tomorrow. Coat it with some glass parency tomorrow. But in the meantime, I gotta. What else is left? Clean all the other glass. Wipe down the body. And then this thing should be pretty much good. I don't think I'm going to put tire shine on. The tires look fine how they are. No, I'm anxious to get in the van tomorrow. Tomorrow I got that 88 van high, what's it called, a high roof or 88 van, four-wheel drive van. It looked pretty nice in the pictures. I'm anxious to see. She wants it washed and protected. All right, there's some streaks in there. That's okay. It'll all dry up. We'll recoat. Yeah, I'll coat the windshield tomorrow. But other than that, I think I'm gonna do. We gotta wipe down the body. I'm just gonna wipe down the body with quick detailer. Nothing crazy. Hit the body with quick detailer. Recoat the top of the headlights, and then maybe just check for like any little bugs that I missed. Hit any of these little bugs I missed with some glass cleaner. But for the most part, the rest of the stuff that I'm going to do is pretty boring. Just quick detailer, and then tomorrow I'll coat the windshield, and then it'll be pretty much done. I might maybe touch up the door jambs where stuff might have got slopped around here and there as I'm working on it. But tomorrow I got that van coming in, so I'll probably go live with the van. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think I'm going to cut out here, go get a drink, and then finish this thing up. And yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll read John chapter 1 verses, I forget where we stopped, but we'll continue reading the book of John. It's going to take us a while to go through it, but if we do it every day, yeah, we'll get through it eventually. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, as always. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.